Welcome to the Talk Like a Leader podcast, where we explore the mindset, skill set, and habit set of leadership communication. Using these tips, techniques, and tactics, you'll be able to talk like a leader to build better relationships and get more done. Your host is Guy Harris, who has more than 20 years of combined professional and military experience in consulting, coaching, and training in areas like team and interaction dynamics, communication strategies and tactics, as well as emotional intelligence. Take it away, Guy.
Hi, this is Guy. A little pre-note before the podcast episode actually begins. I want to let you know that I noticed in post-production there's some pop and breakup of my guest audio that wasn't quite so obvious during the actual recording of the interview. I listened to it and thought, you can still get the main idea that he's trying to convey. So the value is still there, even though the recording quality isn't the greatest in the world. I hope you can forgive that, look past it, and extract the wisdom that my guest has to offer in this podcast episode. With that thought in mind, let's get on to the main recording. Hi, this is Guy Harris. Welcome to the Talk Like a Leader podcast. This week, I am really excited to have the chance to talk with a guest that I think you're going to be pretty excited to hear about. His name is Don Mann. He's a retired SEAL Team 6 member. He is a adventure athlete for many years. He's a New York Times best-selling author. He's an expert in team building and leadership. He speaks around the world, basically, across the U.S. and around the world, does motivational speaking, works with teams, works with leaders to help develop their skills and build their teams. And I'm just confident, based on what I know about Don so far, that he's going to share some really powerful insights with you today about how to talk like a leader. So, Don, first of all, welcome to Talk Like a Leader.
Thank you, Guy. It's nice to be here with you.
Let's just start with the question. When you hear the phrase, talk like a leader, what idea does that create for you, or what vision does that create for you, Don? What does it mean to talk like a leader from your perspective, from your experiences?
Guy, for me, I would have to answer by saying when I hear talk like a leader, I look back to leaders I've really respected and admired and worked for in my past life, and as a civilian, as a government worker, and as a member of the SEAL teams. There are a few leaders I really, really respect and look up to. Mm-hmm. And most of those were SEALs. And these leaders here, I often think, what would they do in this situation? What would they do in this situation? And it always comes back to doing the right thing and walking your talk. Basically, being the first one at work, for instance, the last one to leave, and doing everything you expect the others to do, and knowing you're there for the mission. And every word out of the person's mouth, the leader's mouth, he or she is there for the mission. And I think that just exudes down to the staff and the troops and the employees. Mm-hmm. That the leader has to be the one who exudes leadership through his actions. And that's what it means to me.
So one of the things that really resonated with me in your answer there, Don, was the idea of being there for the mission. Could you elaborate about what it means to you to be there for the mission? Well, let me tell you the idea it triggers for me and see if we're on the same page here. I think we are. There's one idea that I'm here for me as the leader to get what I want out of this situation. And the other kind of mindset is, no, I'm here for the mission, and I'm here to do whatever's necessary to make the mission happen, even if it makes me personally a little bit uncomfortable. That's what I'm hearing in that phrase. Is that an accurate way to read what you're saying, Don?
Yeah, Guy, it is. And you and I served, we were talking briefly, we served during the same time frame.
Yeah.
And there were leaders I could look back to thinking, they are here, they are standing by the flagpole, they're all around the flagpole, all around front office, and they'll be raised in hopes that they'll get promotion so they can make more money and go up the ranks. And that is so apparent in some leaders. And those, I don't even like calling those people leaders.
Right.
I think the true leader is not the one who's trying to get recognized, not the one trying to bring attention to himself. He's there to make the unit or the company or the command or the business more powerful and stronger through his vision and his actions or her actions.
That is so powerful. It reminds me of something I read in Colin Powell's autobiography. He called it I think he called it the Starched Pants Army. And it was the idea of just doing the stuff you needed to do to get promoted rather than the stuff you needed to do to be effective. And so your comment about, people just being around the flagpole just for the purpose of getting attention to themselves or those kind of things. Do you get the feeling, or do you get the sense that when you're in a team and you're in the leadership role, that whether you say it or not, in terms of overtly say it, do you think people kind of get the impression from just the way you do things about whether you're there for personal reward or if you're there for the mission? Do you think that comes through to people?
I'm actually absolutely positive it comes through in a person's, not necessarily what a person says. Some people aren't very good speakers and they don't have a great way of verbally communicating the message. But
Mm-hmm.
their actions, you can't hide that. And
Right.
Their attitudes, and like, I will do whatever it takes to get this job done. That comes out loud and clear, regardless if the person's a great speaker or not.
Mm-hmm.
I read Colin Powell's book too, and I remember that passage that was powerful. And not to get into politics, but I once, when George W. Bush was our president, I remember people criticizing him because he wasn't a great orator. He wasn't a great speaker like President Obama was.
Right.
But then I heard later that he was such a powerful leader and such a powerful communicator because the way he spoke, there weren't any mixed messages, and he wasn't talking around a subject. He was direct and to the point. And the people who worked on his staff, they said, we never had any question on what we're going to do for the day, because we knew where his moral compass was. He wasn't a great artist. He couldn't articulate it very well, but they all loved working for him because, right or wrong, what he believed he was doing was the right thing. And I think that's a good example of a very powerful, effective leader for somebody who can't really say it as well as maybe others, but demonstrates the vision through the actions. And I think President Bush, to me, was a good example of that.
I appreciate you raising that point, Don, because that's one of the things that I hope people get out of this podcast, that talking like a leader isn't really about techniques. And I hope that over time that we can talk about some communication techniques and skills and help people grow in their skills and become more fluid in the way they communicate. I hope that's an outcome. And to your point, the mindset behind what you're communicating and what your behaviors communicate to people, not just what your words communicate to people, is really the bigger thing. And the thing that I hope comes through in this podcast is, like, talking like a leader is more than just magic words or magic techniques. It's more what you do each and every day. Now, that's what I just heard and what you said. It resonated with me and what my personal beliefs are. Did I hear that accurately? Is that a fair way to say things, that what you do is really more important than what you say on a daily basis?
I think so, Guy. I absolutely think so. When I got into motivational, inspirational speaking, it was actually by accident. I was running these camps for civilians who wanted to be SEALs, and some vice presidents from Don Chrysler went through it, and they asked me if I'd come to Don Chrysler to give a talk. And I said, there is no way. I don't know anything about business. This was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I said, there's no way I'm going to do that. And then we became friends over there, and I ended up doing it. And I heard these coaches saying, flail your arms, act excited, walk back and forth. And there are all these canned little types of behaviors a lot of people do when they're doing inspirational speaking. I said, well, I'm not going to do any of that. I'm going to speak from my heart, and I'm just going to tell people in the best I can what I believe in. And that attitude for me has worked well, because now I'm going on 20 years of doing these talks, and it's not canned, it's not fake, it's not rehearsed. And to your point, what you said, it's just coming from the person's soul or the heart or the attitude. Doesn't have a whole lot to do with other techniques. Now, the other techniques we think can only better that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The most important part is the leader comes from that person's soul, basically.
So in your leadership journey, have you found anything that helps you speak more authentically, more genuinely? Have you found ways to communicate that heart you have more effectively to other people? Is there anything that you've learned that makes that easier to do?
Sometimes if the crowd is really large, 1,000 people or 1,500 people, you would like, I'm not a person who would like be in the limelight and be in front of a large crowd like that. And if I thought about the number, it would probably be overwhelming for me. But what I like to do is I look at one person and that person, I look somewhere else and actually talk to that person. And I don't worry about how it really comes across as far as look and dress and presentation.
Mm-hmm.
As long as I know the message is coming out through non-rehearsed behavior and just coming out the way I want it to come out.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's been the most successful way. That's the talks that get the best responses when there's nothing rehearsed. It just comes right out. And no matter how large the audience is. So I guess the answer to that question would be to look at one person at a time, and everybody there is a person, and I try to relate to people who are in that audience to the best of my ability.
I'm thinking, Don, for a person who, maybe they're new to a leadership role and they've got a team of 5 or 6 people and they have a shift meeting or something like that. I think what you said right there, whether it's 5 people or 1,000, is a really powerful idea to convey that authenticity, is speak to the person, not to the crowd. I really appreciate you sharing that because you got a lot of experience here. Now, before we wrap up, I want to make sure people know how to get in touch with you. And I'm hoping this isn't the last time we do this. We only have like 10 or 12 minutes to talk in each episode. I'm hoping that we get a chance to have Don back sometime. But in the meantime, if somebody wanted to get hold of you, learn more about you, how could they do that, Don?
Well, probably the website would be the best way. And my website's usfrogman.com. And that's US as in United States, Frogman, FROGMANN, my last name.com.
Oh,
and
that's
it's
awesome.
a pleasure talking with you guys. I look forward to keeping our lines of communication open.
Yeah, that's great. I'm looking forward to staying in touch with it. So let's make sure everybody hears this. usfrogman.com, where man has 2 N's, usfrogman.com. And we'll make sure that we put a link on the episode page too, to make that easier for people to find. So what I hope is that as you listen to this episode, you get great value from Don's experience. Don has seen and done a lot of things. And I hope you notice the thing he said about authenticity. I think if you're listening, you'll hear the authenticity too. And I think if you will learn how to speak with authenticity, to do the things that need to be done, to have the attitude of serving the mission or the team ahead of yourself, you can talk like a leader. This has been the Talk Like a Leader podcast. You can listen to this show every week wherever you get your podcast. If you haven't, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. I'm Guy Harris, and thanks for listening.